back to the Closed Fist. This is Joey. This is Will. I'm Russ. Talking about ratings.
What you gonna do there?
I was gonna woo, but I said
You're gonna
On the count of three?
yeah.
1, 2, 3. Woo!
And my ears are just blown out. Okay.
Oh yeah.
You're welcome from the Beer Garages.
Oh my goodness! But big doings in the ratings. They came out, and the Raw ratings. Can somebody say Tumble? Going back to the roster shakeup. Now the roster shakeup was sometime after. It's interesting because the WrestleMania Monday had an average of 3.7 million fans. Okay. Now you go back to the superstar shakeup or the superstar shakeup. I can't talk now. The ratings dropped to 3.4 million,
which is still 3.3 million more than TNA.
Yeah.
That's a good. You know what? Think about it. We were saying like, oh, the ratings are dropping. The ratings are dropping. They did 300,000. That's their bet. That's 12. That's up 12%.
We have more fans than that at the Transit.
You know, but you think, but that kind of puts things in perspective a little bit about where TNA is and where Raw is. But now they went 3.4 million after the superstar shakeup, and then we go down to Monday Night Raw. This past Monday Night Raw, they're down to 2.6 million. That is a loss since the WrestleMania.
Half a million.
A little over a million. That's about a third. Now, in any business, you lose a third. 33-ish% of your viewers or business. I mean, that is wow.
USA Network's going to go back to the dog show.
I love the dog show.
I don't mind the dog show, but I used to hate when it would interrupt Raw or cut it an hour short.
I like the dog that took a dump in the middle of it, though. That was fantastic.
That's my kind of dog.
Yes. Here's a Raw.
Well, that's worrisome for that. You know what I mean? That's worrisome. You lose 1 million viewers.
It's called terrible television.
And this is like and
that kind of goes to what we were talking about earlier. You know, they need to switch some stuff up.
3.7 million on April 3rd. Mm-hmm. Now did
SmackDown go up from those people that stopped watching Raw?
They went up by about 150,000. They were up to 2.3 million. That's pretty good for them.
Go Shane O'Mac.
But it's like they're almost on par with Raw. Vince has to be pulling his hair out right now because this is his flagship show, and oh my God, they're plummeting right now.
Mm-hmm.
Have the indies spoken? When I say that, because
Randy has.
Because if you look at we were discussing roster versus roster.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you look at SmackDown, just more of the indie set. Right. Some of them, you know what I mean, the roster itself. And is this the people speaking, saying, hey,
change.
This is what we want. We want change. This is where we want to go. And it's affecting, when you look at, we were just discussing how Raw's roster looks better, but it's more of the status quo, the Brock Lesnar, the Roman Reigns, that type of thing. And is this the people speaking? That's basically what I'm getting at. With SmackDown's ratings going up a bit and the Jinder Mahal move.
Is SmackDown higher because of Jinder Mahal, and now an entire culture is getting one of their own as a title?
I mean, that would have
a champion, I should say, not title.
I don't know if they've debuted the network in India yet, though. I think that was part of.
But they should get syndication on Raw and SmackDown.
Part and parcel with the. Well, I think there's a lot of things that are going into this India thing. That's why they're pushing this so hard, because I don't think the network is premiered there yet. Because it's not in China.
I don't think so.
You know what I mean? There's markets where
there's like 4 TVs in China. China. 14
billion people.
Right.
But 10 billion computers, so
yeah, exactly. But I'm losing my train of thought on that. But I'm just saying that is that showing the ratings showing that the people are speaking about what they want.
Well, here's the thing.
Everybody upset because Cena and Brock Lesnar have not been on, so everybody stopped watching.
Give them a pacifier; they'll be fine. Yeah, you're right. We can't see you.
You ain't watching.
But the thing is, I mean, we're talking about like the status quo guy. When we looked at the roster, how many status quo guys did you see on there? There were a lot of them. I mean, I mean, if we go,
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct.
Back to it.
You go back to it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at a lot of status quo guys like Brock Lesnar, and
The Hardys, Brock
Miz.
Lesnar.
I mean, the
Here's
Big
the,
Show.
here's the question:
The
is the
Miz.
Raw for people like us, and is SmackDown for the younger generation? And is that
I don't think it's
being represented?
I think it's the indie set, man. I truly do. I think that, you know, especially, I mean, 1 million people is a lot. It's more, you know, the whole Twitter feud from last week. Does that play into any of it at all?
But I think you bring up a decent point with the indie thing, but you still have Samoa Joe and Finn Balor.
Oh no, there are guys on this roster. Yes.
Right? But but a lot of the guys on SmackDown's roster, you know, they have an indie kind of background.
Feel to it.
Yeah,
it has a
feel
more of
to
an
it,
indie
yeah.
feel to it.
Well, yeah, it's all your
More of
NXT guys that are coming up, and guys that have come from other faction or other.
Organizations,
Just the way they
organizations.
present the whole thing, the show itself
yeah.
has more of an indie feel to it.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that.
You know,
And this is
It's
why
fresher.
But you know what though, the indie circuit is really becoming more. I don't want to say more popular, but it's becoming really popular.
Unless you ask Randy Orton.
Unless you're segue.
high spot.
High spot. Dive.
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
Hit your move twice. Hit your opponent's move twice.
Shake hands.
Hug.
fight forever.
Yeah.
You know.
This is awesome.
But you know, but is there? I mean, is the indie scene having that much of an influence on Vince right now, to where the ratings are dropping that much?
Well, I'm just throwing a correlation because you don't know. You know what I mean?
You don't know for sure.
It could
bounce
be a
back
combination
next
of
week.
things because TNA is not stealing any of their viewership. It's a completely different night.
Right.
You know, is it the 5 hours of regularly scheduled television that you have? 5 hours of television a week, back to back, 2 days in a row.
Or here's the
People
other
sick of it,
question.
You know,
Are people not watching the actual live television, or are they watching it on the network?
DVR.
network,
DVR, the
whatever.
network. I mean,
Yeah.
that could be making a huge chunk out of that too.
Yeah, but you know what though? When wrestling was good, didn't we find a reason to watch?
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
are people like saying? Eh,
You also had your.
I watched Nitro, Raw, and Thunder. All right.
Yeah.
You know what I remember? You know.
Yeah.
And
Well, the nice thing
SmackDown.
about Nitro and Raw, or Nitro and Thunder, they were on twice a night.
Yeah.
So you could watch it again. You could
yeah.
actually, you didn't have to like go back and forth between channels or tape one and watch the other.
Yeah.
I said tape.
Yeah, it's what's that?
What's up, VHS?
Betamax. What?
Wiki, what? But it's but to see that kind of a drop though, man, that is just somebody. You would figure somebody's getting fired there.
Hopefully, it's the soap opera writers.
Oh my god.
Or the
Wombats. You got 3 guys right here that can write a better story in 5 minutes than they've written all season.
Oh my goodness. And speaking of Randy Orton and a tweet.
Do you say and I quote? Or are you going to read it? Or?
You should. You should. It's worth it.
It's this is actually
Especially the Humpty Dumpty.
on Rip Rogers' Twitter feed. He posted on his Twitter. Just got this. This is from Randy Orton. Every indie match, handshake, drawn out, move exchange, this is awesome chant, strike exchange, dive, no sell indie strong style, dive, more strikes, no sells, dive, flippy floppy, sequence, dive, hit everyone with each other's finisher, then Humpty Dumpty, we all fall down.
And you don't like Randy Orton. I still love the guy.
Oh my
But
goodness.
is this Randy Orton?
Is this Randy Orton?
Or I thought this was from Rip Rogers.
No, this
and he and Randy retweeted it.
No, this is Randy Orton
And Rip retweeting.
and Rip retweeting it. Fall down, fight forever chant, rinse and repeat until every move is useless and means nothing. Dive. Take unsafe shot that looks like
shit.
and hurts like hell. Then roll up, finish. Handshake and hug after match. Everyone's hands raised. All these guys chant. Go home and type on social media thanking your opponents and company for the match and telling others they should book. Now, reading that,
The best is the rebuttal. I'm sorry.
Scroll back up, if you could. Oh, okay, I'm just looking at it again. But my thing, you're saying the Randy Orton thing. If he said stuff like this on television, I'd like Randy Orton.
Well, you're kind of hard when your arms are tied behind your back by the Wombats, and you're not allowed to have freedom of your own speech on WWE.
yeah, and then now he says I should put out an apology.
Which is the best apology I've ever heard in my life.
Now, Randy Orton, the Randy Orton apology, I quote, "Sorry to the indie marks, indie guys and old timers who do dives."
Bubba Ray Dudley.
Bubba Ray Dudley took offense. Just having a good time over a few drinks in Denmark, closing the SmackDown Live tour. This is what a few drinks in Denmark does to you. Yeah.
It's all that German beer.
Ginger McNipples.
While beating Raw and making over $5 million in the last 11 shows, now I know to some that doesn't equate to standing room only crowd of 150 people paying $8 at an armory somewhere. But in the big boy world, yeah, that's right, he said big boy world, he's called putting asses in the seats. So enjoy your flips, dives, and 20 super kicks per match. To each their own. I will go dive back into my 13th title run and get ready to flip when my bank statement comes this month. Headlock.
Yep.
Can I shake his hand?
You know what? It's funny. It really is.
It's true, though. It's true.
It's true.
It's damn true.
But you know what, though? Is there some jealousy on Randy Orton's part? Maybe not with his bank account. But
Definitely not the bank account.
definitely not the bank account. But let's face it, he doesn't get the reaction he used to get.
No, but he's still getting handed titles.
Yeah. We need Randy Orton to. We need you to be heel. Okay, I will be heel. Here is a title. 6 months later, we need you to go face. Here is a title.
I don't think it could be sour grapes, man. The dude's done everything he can, like.
He's a 13-time champ at the end of the day.
My personal opinion of him, whatever, but he's done it all. There's no sour grapes here. I mean, he's making millions.
He was a top heel. He was a top face,
He's
and
good.
now he's just there.
Yeah. No.
I think it's, I think people read more into this stuff. I mean, it's great fodder and conversation,
Yeah.
but
I just love it because he's an asshole.
Yeah.
His personal, not Randy Orton on television. I've read his tweets. I followed a couple things he's put up. I love him because he's just plain an asshole.
Yeah.
And I love it because I'm an asshole.
And and you're such a sweetie.
Oh,
And
stop it.
Dave Batista came out. His Twitter response was, "That's my guy."
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of assholes,
Yeah, pretty much.
he's a true asshole.
Yeah, but really doesn't do anything. I mean, I guess by and large, it's a drunk Randy Orton, which could be another character of his. You never know.
Broken Orton.
You get the broken hearties. You have a
Drunken Orton.
a drunken Orton.
Can you wear the cast, please? And brand people,
And
please. I've been asking for this for years.
Oh my goodness! But yeah,
Cowboy Randy Orton.
I don't know. I think there's a little. I think he misses a certain crowd reaction he used to get because people don't care. People
But I also think he's at the point in his career where he just doesn't care anymore either. He'll take the paycheck, he'll take the title, and he'll do whatever he wants.
But you know what, though? He shouldn't care.
No.
Well, why should he? Why should he care? I mean, there are, but you know what though? There may be some indie guys that did take offense to it, and you know what? If they do, I think that's a good thing because you know what? You're taking pride in what you do.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't,
Unless you're Bubba Ray Dudley.
Unless you're Bubba Ray Dudley, which you know, Bubba's done his stuff too. I mean, he's had a great career. But you know what though? I mean, if you take offense to it, if it makes you work that much harder, albeit go for it. But you know what though? If you're going to take that much offense to it and come at Randy Orton, guess what? Randy Orton's going to say, check my money.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah. Well, that's always the argument. It's like in anything where there's the independent scene versus what they call the mainstream. You know, like music, whatever. It's the same reaction.
You're making a comment and haters are hating on you. So what do? You put out another comment that's going to make them hate you even more.
Right.
It's like it's like Metallica said when people said they sold out.
Well, they did.
Okay, there you go. But it's the same thing as your boy Randy Orton.
No, I agree.
It's the same thing. They go, you sold out. Yeah, we sell out every single
in that
night.
house. Yeah.
Didn't MC Hammer say that as well?
Oh no, he said you can't touch this.
Yeah, but he sold I Solid Arenas every night when he was called a sellout by Third Base, I believe it was.
Third Base. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the gas face.
Reference.
Ooh. But
At least you appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I knew exactly where you were going.
Hold on. Da-da.
All right, Fashion Police. All right.
But yeah, I mean, but you know what?
I haven't worn color today.
Is that a Fruity Pebble color I see?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't see me, but yeah,
I'm a Cena mark. What do you want me to do?
So when do we get the next drunken Randy Orton tweet? That's the question. And what is
Not soon enough.
What is he going to come out with next? But I think that there are going to be. I think there's going to be a ton of indie wrestlers that are going to be like, okay, whatever. But
yeah, but they're also like half the size of him. So
yeah, but in retrospect, you know, there are a lot of people that think Randy Orton's career was handed to him.
Oh, yeah.
That was originally my main beef with him.
Right.
That was originally my main beef with him.
Well, then you have to look at The Rock.
Silver who?
You have to look at The Rock the same way.
Look at what?
Look who his dad was, who his grandfather was. He was handed his career as well. You can't not ignore that if you're going to call that out.
Rocky Maivia is all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
You got death threats on the way to the ring. You know what I mean? Like the
Well,
Rock,
that's what happens when you're nation of domination.
If the Rock didn't go to Vince and say, "Hey, I can't do this," he got injured and then I was off TV for like 6 months. He went to Vince and was like, "Hey, man,
give me the mic.
I can't do this anymore. Can I just be myself?" Randy Orton didn't speak. He was put into a faction right away as the legend killer, this thing, like the whole...
Well, some people need more grooming than others, though.
Well, but I'm saying, it was basically, you were given Triple H and Ric Flair and said, here you go, youngest world title holder ever.
The Rock was given Mr. Simmons. Damn.
But he wasn't, he was Farouk at the time. He was, and I'm just saying...
An Earthquake.
Was Earthquake in the Nation of Domination?
I believe he was.
No.
Not Earthquake. Who's the fat guy?
Mark Henry.
Mark Henry.
Somebody else I thought too.
D'Lo Brown.
D'Lo Brown.
Big dude, blue daishiki. What the hell was his name?
No, it was the Godfather.
Oh yeah, he was
Savio Vega. When he was Savio Vega.
Yeah.
I think
We get
you know, but
Sorry.
well, no, that's fine. But I know. But if you look at the heritages of both of those guys, I mean, you had Rocky Johnson and Peter Maivia with the Rock, you know. But and then
that's how he got his shot.
And then you had you know, Cowboys, and then you had Cowboy Bob Orton, you know.
Getting a shot, yes.
Well,
I'm just saying.
You have to look at all these second and third generations.
The way it was presented, and I sound like a hater now, but it's the way it was presented. It just it worked, I guess. The heel stuff, it worked because I was like, I can't stand this fucking guy. Sorry, I swore. But
I knew I loved you.
Yeah. Anyway.
We'll hug it out later.
Yeah.
But you get those guys that I don't want to say they're handed the opportunity, but you know what though, if you're handed an opportunity, it's what you do with that opportunity afterwards.
And sometimes those opportunities they give you are terrible gimmicks, like the Rocky Maivia. Well, Randy Orton was just Randy Orton.
If the fashion police were around when Rocky Maivia was around, he would still be in prison right now.
Oh, okay.
Come on, the headdress was awesome.
I thought you were going to say, in the Rocky Maivia gimmick, absolutely. I was going to say, they would be destroyed by The Rock. The fashion police would be absolutely destroyed. It'd be amazing. That would be probably some of the best stuff on television. The Rock versus the fashion police.
Please.
There you go.
There you go.
If you smell what Will is cooking.
Oh,
yeah, man.
And you will later if you stop by the Transit Music Lounge.
Hey now.
I like the plug.
But, yeah, I mean, but you know what, though? But those guys had great careers. I mean, The Rock, he's in every movie.
He is today's action star.
But,
He's everything John Cena wants to be.
and more. But you know what, though? But that tweet, I think there's some sour grapes, maybe not about the wrestling, but people being in his ear about how he was handed his career, and now he looks back and says, hey, check my bank account.
Yeah. Check my title reigns.
Check your title. Check out my title.
Check his storylines. I mean, he was 90% of his career, he's been at the top of the pyramid, one way or another.
Yep. And unfortunately, though, the staleness.
Oh yeah. But that's WWE.
Yeah, and this is what they do. They take a good character, they run it into the ground, and then they don't come up with anything new. They don't evolve.
Or they just steal the same gimmick from before and rewrite it as something new, a.k.a. Kurt Angle with the milk, Stone Cold with the beer. They just rewrite the same shit. And
hence, 1.1 million viewers lost.
Yeah.
There it is.
Because it's not the kids that are leaving. It's the adults like us that have seen this so many times.
Exactly. And that poll that we had, I think that's a great indication of what the wrestling business is right now. Mm-hmm.